Hello, everyone. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late for some reason. I can't seem to get the hang of the going live sometimes, but I'm super excited to talk to you about this today because this is something that is so prevalent when we are dealing with chronic conditions. So, what is this topic? This is all about minimizing our pain. So I want to tell you a story of a woman that came to me, and she's a few years younger than me, multiple chronic condition diagnoses. She was telling me about all the pain that she's in every single day, the medications she's on that don't seem to be helping. She's on them because what could be worse, maybe not being on them. But even the doctors are like, we don't have any more medication for you. This is the best that we've got. And it's still not getting her where she needs to be. She's still living in pain. And something that she said really hit home to me because this is something that I've done as well. I've said it many times, and she told me, well, I've just learned to live with it. This is my life. It's really not that bad. I don't cancel things as much as I used to. I just go now. I push through. And that's something that, again, really hit home because I've said that before. And raise your hand if that's been you, where you've thought to yourself, well, it's really not that bad. There's always someone worse off than me. Maybe I don't have the diagnosis or condition that someone else has. Maybe mine's not fatal, so it's no big deal. Or when your friends ask you how you're doing, even if you're in pain, you smile and you tell them that you're fine. Raise your hand, give me a wave, let me know in the comments because I've been that person. Okay? And that's very challenging to us. We minimize our pain because that's how we make it through, okay? It is a coping mechanism. And I'm not saying we want to run around and tell everybody that we're in pain every day. And for many of us, that's the reality. We are in pain. We live our life at a certain level of pain. Maybe it's a 1, maybe it's a 3 or 4, maybe it's a 6 or an 8 every day. And we feel like, well, maybe I just, I'll just keep it to myself. Nobody wants to hear about this. It's not going to help me get any better. But we learn to minimize our pain over time. So today we're going to talk about how we learn this, what it's doing, and why we should stop minimizing our pain because it's really holding us back. So a lot of the time in society, we're taught to push through. Just push through. It's not that bad. How many times have you been in severe pain and somebody's like, well, maybe you should go to the hospital? Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be an inconvenience. Anybody? Anybody at all? No, I'm not saying that that's the answer, but we're taught that, some pain's just really not that bad, right? Many times we're thinking, this is just my new normal. They told me that my condition can't be reversed. I'm just going to have to learn to live with it. Let me know. Give me a me in the comments if it's not just me, because I've been through this as well. I have literally been sent home from the emergency room being told that I should stop physical therapy and I just need to learn to live with the pain. Okay? So we tell ourselves, this is normal. My life's just going to be full of pain. We don't realize that it doesn't have to be that way. We learn to lack trust in our bodies. We don't know where to find the answers. And if we don't have the answer, then doing something about the pain feels unsafe. Whereas if we minimize it and tell ourselves it's really not that bad, it's really not that big of a deal, or we second guess, like, am I really in this much pain? It feels a little bit safer to doubt ourselves and to just get used to it, just learn to live with something, than it does to look for answers, especially if we've been told, like so many of us are told, we either don't know what causes it, or there's no cure, or you're going to have to be on medication for the rest of your life, or you're just going to have to learn to live with it, right? So ask yourself, what are some times where this has happened to you? Let me know. How do you handle this when you're really thinking about what's going on? Do you minimize your pain? Is it something that you've just learned to cope with? But this has some very real negative implications. And again, we don't want to get into a situation where we're constantly dwelling on our pain. Because if we continue to do that, that is obviously not a healthy coping mechanism either. And we can continue to spiral in a downward fashion and not heal from that. There is a balance between acknowledging your pain and recognizing it versus completely minimizing it. So that's something that's really important. But some things that it can cause are emotional disconnection and disconnection from our body's signals. When we learn to suppress what's going on inside or accept it as normal, we tune out the messages that our body is trying to send us. Pain is not our body turning against us. Sometimes it's structural and there's a structural issue, an injury, something like that that is causing physical pain, and it needs to be manually manipulated or healed until it can resolve. But a lot of our pain is caused by inflammation. There are internal signals, internal infections that have gone unnoticed and untreated until we're suddenly living our lives in pain or with chronic illness diagnoses. And the longer we ignore them, the worse it gets. If we minimize our pain because of fear of the unknown, or really thinking, well, maybe it's just not that bad, or this is going to be my new normal, what happens is it keeps us from addressing it. And when we don't address it, things get worse. Nothing ever got better by inaction. Things don't just go away, right? So that's something that we have to realize. We miss opportunities for joy and connection when we're not focusing on supporting our body. If we're really feeling like there is no help, there is no hope, or what worked for them couldn't possibly work for me, or I'm just not that bad, or I need to live with it, we cut ourselves off from the possibility of what our future can be. And I'm here to tell you that I used to spend almost every day in pain. Okay? It doesn't have to be like that though. We can get our lives back, but what we have to do is we cannot minimize what we're going through. We have to address it. And it's interesting because, we think minimizing is helping us cope, but what it really does is it keeps us from seeing clearly, from gaining clarity, from gaining support, and from gaining peace. We end up going along this journey on our own rather than asking for help, rather than looking for answers. Or maybe we try things here or there, but we really don't have hope because we've minimized things for so long, or we felt like things are never going to work, or we've been told that there is no answer, right? When we have that mindset, it prohibits us from taking action. And we can't get results unless we take action, right? When we switch our mindset and realize that there is another way, and we transition from coping to healing, we can begin to see that clearly. Sorry, I talk with my hands. If you see my hands flailing, I tend to talk with my hands a lot. Your pain is valid and it doesn't need to be ignored, but it's also not permanent. When we begin to explore the healing capabilities of the body, which Most chronic conditions have been proven to be able to be reversed with nutrition and lifestyle and mindset work, nervous system regulation. Most of these tools are not given to us by our practitioner, and it's not their fault. They're not trying to harm us, they're just not trained on it. It's not a pharmaceutical, so they're not trained on the effectiveness of it, right? But when we begin to transition our mindset and accept the fact that this is not normal, okay? We were not put here, created, evolved, whatever it is that, whatever your belief system is, I don't believe any of it supports living a life in pain and on a boatload of medications that are just filling the body up with more harmful substances. And for many of us, we're on medications that don't even work to their full effectiveness. We're just doing everything we can to silence those pain signals, and it's not working. Again, there is a time and a place for medication. I am not anti-medication. So please, I don't want that to be the thought of anyone that might be watching this currently or on the replay. I know that there is a time and a place, and I used it for myself as well. And it can be supportive, but what is not supportive is accepting that our life is going to be reduced to a lifetime of pain and on medications where we have no power over our own bodies. So my message to you is that your body's not broken. Really think about it. What if my body was not broken? What if I could ask for something different? What if pain-free days were possible? What results would you want to see in your life? What kind of actions would you take? Who would you become? Because if we want to see results and change in our circumstances and in our reality, we have to shift our thinking and our feeling. Because if we think that there is no hope, there's no answer, we're going to feel hopeless. What do you think we're going to want to do? Nothing. If there's no hope, why try? Humans want to conserve energy and take the least challenging path. Doing nothing is that path. It is still an action. It's a harder path in the long run, but in the current state, the present moment, doing nothing seems easier. But if we shift our mindset and open up the doors of possibility for what our life could be like without pain, we begin to feel differently. How does it make you feel to know that there's a possibility that you could live without pain, or at minimum, drastically reduced pain, increased energy, normalizing or stabilizing your weight, overcoming that weight loss resistance? Okay, getting off the medications, not spending as much time at doctor's appointments. That makes me feel so happy. I am so happy that I don't have to do that anymore. And the clients that I work with don't want to have to do that anymore. Right? And when you feel empowered and happy, you're inclined to take action, to take positive action, to support your body, to support your liver, to support your gut, to support your immune system, to support your nervous system. You don't want to do nothing because you know that there's hope out there. And then what happens? The results start to follow. The skin conditions clear up. The IBS is gone. The autoimmune disorders are at bay, right? Our lab work improves. Migraine frequency goes down. Migraine severity decreases. Joint pain decreases. You have more energy. Weight starts to come off. Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down, okay? Because that's what happens when we transition our thoughts, okay? And using minimization of our circumstances, like so many of us does, keeps us trapped because it limits our beliefs and we take action based on the thoughts and feelings that we're having. So if we want to improve our results and have the life that we want, we have to stop minimizing. Okay? And again, I'm not saying shout it from the mountaintops when you feel like crap. It's important to acknowledge, but when that happens, we implement other tools in our toolbox, right? The nervous system work, choosing the supporting foods, making sure we're not just saying screw it and, eating or doing whatever we want because what's the use? And trust me, I've been there. I've been there. On rare occasion, I still have those days, but they were really frequent in the past, and now they're rare. All these things are normal. It's part of dealing with chronic conditions and navigating this journey, but you don't have to live with it. You don't have to continue to minimize it or to reject help because you feel like there may not be answers, or you feel like you're afraid of the unknown, or you feel like, well, I just learned to live with it, or somebody else has it worse, so I'm okay. So if this is resonating with you, please let me know. This is some of the mindset work that I work with clients on in the Vitality program. You can go to vitalityholistichw.com/book. We can chat, discuss what you're going through, develop a plan. And if it's a good fit, we can work together further on helping you reach your health goals and reducing your pain and losing the weight and really thriving, living with vitality. Okay? And if not, that's fine too. I love to be a resource that is supportive of you. I really do hope that this live training is helpful. Let me know in the comments below, but this is something that is so pervasive, and I really just wanted to share from the depths of my heart because I've been there and I know how much better life can be when we don't live in that space of minimizing. So, with that being said, I hope everyone has a fantastic 4th of July. Have fun, enjoy time with family, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.